All right, guys, welcome to the show. We're talking about running back committees to avoid. Running backs on these committees to avoid. Stay away from these teams. Do not draft them. That's what we're talking about. Exciting show here today for you guys. Before we get into this show, I know a lot of people watch the channel that aren't subscribed. They tune in, they see a video, they click on it. Thank you for being here. But guys, click subscribe because this is outside the box thinking. It's going to help you guys crush your leagues. My advice is outside the box lion mentality. If you guys want to win and dominate your leagues, not even win, but light years ahead of the competition, click that subscribe button and get that 16-round draft solution. It's officially out. I created it, guys, already there. Notes are in. You can go in and get all the sleepers, breakouts, everything you need available now. 16-round draft solution. Click on the link below or just Google 16-round draft solution or head on over to thefantasyfootballcouncil.com. Go do it now. It's going to be, guys, it's going to save you guys so much time. You don't got to worry about, rankings and magazines and all that. Everything is there on a silver platter for you. I'm super confident at 16 rounds. Use code TUBE20, TUBE20, to save yourself 20% on the solution. Go get it now. All right. Now, we're talking running backs to avoid, committees to avoid. Who are they? Let's talk about it right now. First one, guys, it's very, very simple, okay? I'm avoiding them. I'm not touching this committee. I'm staying away from this committee. I'm not touching these running backs. And it went from bad to worse. The committee I'm talking about is the Baltimore Ravens committee. I was staying away from J.K. Dobbins to begin with. Why? Because they've got a running back. They've got Lamar Jackson, who runs the ball more than anybody else. He runs more than most running backs in the league. So I was looking at that situation. I was like, I'm staying away from Dobbins, not drafting him, okay? I don't care what his ADP is. I'm staying away. And I have stayed away from years. This worked out very well for me, okay? So not only is he competing with Lamar Jackson, Dobbins he's got Gus the Bus there, and they've just added Mike Davis. They've got Mike Davis on the team who was just recently acquired, okay? They've got Latavius Murray. They've got all these running backs that mean nothing, that aren't going to get volume. But Mike Davis is there. I think he's going to get some workload. They've got Dobbins. They've got Lamar Jackson. It's a disaster. You're not going to get a clear-cut RB1 there. Avoid it. Now, when you are looking at running backs, we talk about running back strategy or fantasy football draft strategy, you got to take a look at running backs that are in minimal committees, okay? That's the key. That's what I'm obsessed with. That's why I say go robust RB, because there's only a handful of running backs that are not in a committee, right? Only like 9, literally. You've got like your CMC, which hard to trust, but inexpensive this year. You got Saquon Barkley, you've got Najee Harris, you got Derrick Henry, you've got, who else? Dalvin Cook, who again, injury prone. You've got Joe Mixon. Maybe Javonte Williams, but I think Melvin Gordon's going to be a bit of a pest. So it's only like a handful, literally. You've got David Montgomery, Zeke Elliott, but Pollard's there. So it's imperative that you get those running backs early. If not, you're going to be stuck with guys like this in the committee, all right? So the first committee I'm avoiding is the Ravens committee. It's disgusting. Don't touch it, all right? Next guy is, committee you want to avoid is the Cleveland Browns. I've been telling you this for years, yet Nick Chubb is still in the top 10, top 12 amongst running backs, which is absolutely ludicrous. I am staying away from that committee completely, okay? Hunt is a thorn. Hunt is a PPR monster compared to him. They've got Dearness Johnson there, right? New offense there. They got Watson who likes to run the ball. This is a disaster when you're looking at running backs. I'm not drafting any running backs from the Cleveland Browns committee. Avoid this at all costs. Stay away from the Cleveland Browns. That running back committee, just avoid it, dodge it, do not draft them. Stay away, especially Nick Chubb, super expensive for a guy who doesn't catch the ball. And most leagues now are PPR, 1 point PPR, half point. That's all I play, okay? So avoid Nick Chubb, and he's known to get injured and Hunt's there and all that stuff, okay? So Ravens committee, avoid it, okay? Cleveland, avoid it. What you're saying, Joe, all these committees you're avoiding, we're missing all these good running backs. No, if you go robust RB, you should get solid running backs that are not in these committees. You'll be fine, and that's what I explained exactly in the 16-round draft solution. All right, third running back committee to avoid. Now, this one I'm a little bit on the fence with. I'm just like, you know what? Maybe I might consider grabbing Damien Pierce here, but he's competing with Mac, David Johnson. I know guys that are pretty washed up, and Texans could run him, but Damien Pierce was like, what, 4th, 5th round pick? I don't know if he's going to be the guy that they're going to rely on, right? Suspect offense, suspect quarterback, suspect team all around. I'm just going to stay away. Now, if I get Damien Pierce later and stash him, that's great. But I'm avoiding this committee completely. I don't trust Marlon Mack. He lost his job to Taylor. Again, Marlon Mack, years to wow, so we're not wowed. I was never excited about him to begin with. Now he's on the Texans. I'm staying away from this committee completely, not touching the running backs. But again, there is a but for this one. Damien Pierce there in the committee. And I'm going to just check here. I think it was 4th or 5th round he was drafted. There's so many rookies, guys, I can't even keep track. But what I like about him is that, yeah, 4th round. So I said 5th, but I meant 4th round. he should be on the top of this depth chart ahead of Marlon Mack. I think they've also got Rex Burkhead and all these guys. Davis Mill at quarterback is going to be checking down Damien Pierce. Either way, Pierce a guy, if you can get him, stash him. But other than that, be cautious with this committee. Possibly avoid it minus Damien Pierce. So that's my only kind of exception to all these committees that, if I can get him for cheap and he could be the RB1, consider it. Next committee, the fourth one here, is the Kansas City Chiefs. It's a disaster. Darrell Williams, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who I told you to avoid in his first rookie year, ended up busting. They've got Ronald Jones. I don't trust this committee. On a throw-first team, I know Tyreek's gone, different offense, and these guys could be serviceable as flex plays particular weeks. But as a person I would draft, a running back I would draft on my roster, it's a disaster there. I don't trust any of these running backs. I think they're all well below par in regards to talent, mediocre at best. I'm staying away, avoiding the Kansas City Chiefs running back committee. I'm staying away from that, not touching it. Number 5, this is one of the worst ones. I can't even get into how bad this is, guys, with the Miami Dolphins. Avoiding this. These guys, they can't make up their mind because they don't have a good running back to start. They're just drafting anybody or acquiring anybody or just putting everybody on their team. They've got Chase Edmonds, they got Raheem Mostert, they got Myles Gaskin. They just recently brought on Sony Michel. The Dolphins are a disaster at running back. I'm avoiding them like the plague. And then Tua, he likes to maybe scramble, get a couple yards himself. I don't trust anybody. You don't know who the RB1 is, and I don't think anyone's gifted enough here to be an RB1. Okay, Mostert's been injured through the past. Chase Edmonds, years to us, were not wowed. Sony Michel never really got going with the Patriots, got traded to the Rams. Now he's here. It's just a slew of disaster waiting to happen. I'm just not touching the Dolphins at all. It's not complicated, guys. If you follow my 16-round draft solution, you'll be able to omit all these guys and even omit wide receivers that you shouldn't be drafting. It's a disaster of a situation, guys. I'm avoiding the Dolphins as well as a committee. Now, if I'm missing a committee, let me know. I got a couple more for you guys. I got some honorable mentions. I may be missing a committee here that you guys think might fall on this, so let me know who you guys think. But I've gone through every single one here, and I can make arguments for certain ones which I haven't included, but the Eagles here, I don't know if I trust them. Also, you could make an argument for the 49ers, Elijah Mitchell, Trey Sermon. They've added Tyrion Davis-Price in the 3rd round. They've drafted him. Bit of a disaster, but I kind of left those guys out, but I'm still, suspect about the Eagles, 49ers. Seahawks as well, I'm a little suspect about them, but I'm still going to draft Kenneth Walker if I get him for value because he could take over that job with Chris Carson being hurt. But anyway, if there's anyone I'm missing, let me know. Love to get it. But I've got 2 more here for you that I'm definitely avoiding. Disasters. And I've always been a disaster for this one. At number 6 here, I got the Patriots. I mean, they got Rondé Moore Stevenson. They got James White, Damian Harris. Absolute disaster. Don't trust these guys. Now, mind you, Harris was pretty serviceable last year. Then Stevenson came in, got some volumes, may step it up this year. These guys could actually do really well as flex plays and could end up near the top 10, top 15 in fantasy production, but very hard to trust on who the one is, how much of a committee it is. The Patriots are known to bring fullbacks in and have them come in, hoard some touchdowns away from the main running backs. Disaster with the Patriots. Belichick just does not like running backs. He does not like fantasy running backs. He does not make fantasy running backs, does not groom fantasy running backs. Disaster. I'm staying away from Patriots running backs. Although, like I said, I still think there might be some value for Harris or Stevenson. Maybe Stevenson stepping up if Harris gets hurt. Could be some value. But as of right now, completely avoiding them, okay? Then we've got number 7. We've got the Washington Commanders. Can't keep track of their names. What is their name? Are they the football team? They can't even keep track of their names. Never mind their running backs. They're a disaster. I won't even get into this too much other than just avoid them. They've got Gibson, who should have been the workhorse running back. Then they've got J.D. McKissick, who's come in. And he was hoarding away volume last year. Gibson owners were pissed off. Then McKissick was supposed to be traded. Then he wasn't traded. Then he came back. Then people got pissed off because Gibson was supposed to shine. And they drafted Brian Robinson Jr. in the 3rd round. Disaster. I'm just staying away. Washington Commanders, football team, whatever you're called. I want no part of your committee. I want no part of your running backs to avoid, players to avoid. Washington altogether. I'm just not drafting anybody from there. I don't trust Carson Wentz. I don't like the look of Carson Wentz. I don't like his face. I don't like the way he acts. I don't like the way that he thinks he's good and he's not. Guys, okay, I'm going to joke. Not that I hate Carson Wentz's face. I'm just pissed off at how bad these guys are for fantasy football. I'm just trying to make a point. Man, Carson Wentz does look like a troll off, what was that show, movie? Masters of the Universe. Go look up, is it Wildor or Gwildor? Go look him up. Master of the Universe, Gwildor, I can't remember his name. Go look him up. He looks like Carson Wentz, literally. But again, we're not talking about Carson Wentz's face. The point I'm trying to make is I'm just avoiding Washington. Is the point hammered in yet? Staying away for fantasy. So Washington, Patriots, Dolphins, KC, Texans, Browns, Ravens, committees at running back, stay away. Now, some of these guys could have some good value at wide receiver. Dolphins are in a bit of a wide receiver committee as well with Waddle and Tyreek Hill. Patriots, Mac Jones could be a good quarterback later as a sleeper. Pat Mahomes obviously going to be producing very well. Sky Moore as a rookie sleeper at wide receiver possibly. So there's some value here with some of these players. I love Mark Andrews this year. He's going to get a lot of volume as a receiving tight end. But running back committees for these teams, stay the hell away. Period, guys. It's not complicated. All right. Now, if you want to know exactly who to draft and which round to draft them, get 16 rounds. Draft Solution, use code TUBE20, and you will crush your leagues, guys. All right, guys. I appreciate you. Subscribe to the channel, and I'm out.